Welcome back to the DNX show, and today we're going to be talking all about Seattle Supercross, so make sure you guys hit that like and sub button, and let's jump right into it. All right, Doc, what is your biggest takeaway for the 250 class?
First, we got a rivalry brewing, and I don't believe that it's over. Obviously, I'm talking about Haiden and Juju, and Juju mentioned in an interview that the beef has been squashed and it's going to be left back in Seattle. I don't believe so. I think we're going to have some sparks, and we're going to have a little bit of controversy moving forward. Actually, I think it's great. You know, I mean, as long as they can do it, I don't know, somewhat respectful to each other, I think a little bit of beef is cool. And as long as they don't like kill each other on the track, and like what the passes Deegan makes, and even the passes Joe were making, where they're super aggressive, in your face, I think it's great. I think it gets people talking. We're talking about it. They're on the thumbnail. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It gets a lot of coverage on the sport. And my other takeaway, just because I don't want to overlook this because of the beef, is Cole Davies is that guy. And I've been saying it, and you guys chat, calm down. All right. He's had like 2 bad races. If he didn't have those 2 bad races, he'd be like tied in the point.
That is very true. I actually just looked that up. That's how he knows that. But
it's not how I know that. I know that because I've been following, and chat's mid. Sorry.
Okay, so yes, I do agree that Cole is that guy right now. Like, I do agree that if he doesn't have those bad races, he would be in the title contention. 100% his riding shows it. And now going back to the beef, I do agree that we need it, and I hope that it's there for the long haul. Yes, as you mentioned, that the AMA wants to like make sure that nothing really happens, but as fans, and I think as those guys want to do, like, they want to show who's better. So if they're going to make an aggressive pass, they're going to make an aggressive pass. It's not something like a Vince Freeze on Weston Pike, a Vince Freeze on Christian. They're not doing that, right? They're not completely taking each other out. Even Deegan, when he did that aggressive pass that Joe did, an aggressive pass on him, right? He didn't take him out. Juju was still up. He was still racing. And so I think that's fine. I think the smack talking is totally fine, as well as, like, if you want like the sport to grow, you need storylines. You need that beef, right? And I think this is a great one to have, because like in the 450 class, we have a rivalry, and it's Cooper Webb and Chase Sexton, but we don't have a beef, you know? Like, they're just acquaintances. But Juju and Deegan, I think they actually don't like each other, right? And so I hope that in the long haul, that beef stays there, and we get it next year. We get it in the 450 class, you know? But I definitely do agree that we need that beef.
I don't think they're not doing anything wrong with the track. I mean,
no, not at all.
It's basically, I mean, it's a contact sport as far as I'm concerned. And I feel like the pass, I've seen a few people, not a lot of people to be fair, but a few people making a big deal about the pass Deegan made on Juju. That was like very tame. I feel like that was just, I mean, obviously he was trying to get in like in front of him and possibly take his front tire out, but it would have been like take the front tire out where he like tips over.
Go back to A2. Like he took him out at A2 in the heat race, you know? Yeah. So I think that was worse than this one, right? This was 100%. An actual like pass attempt going into, like, that was the line to make a pass. You saw Chase do it on J Coop. J Coop just didn't crash. Joe made an aggressive pass and actually touched Deegan there. Deegan doesn't go down. He obviously makes a pass to the next rhythm. And so, like, that's a passing point, and I think it was great. Now, I think the reason why AMAs maybe get involved is because, like, the trash talking. But I think you need it as a sport.
The, like, physical between them in the, you know, in front of the podium. That's probably the slapping and the helmet grabbing. That I guess I can understand not doing on TV.
I mean, like, if you go watch it, yes, like he barely grabs his helmet. Like, go watch it. He barely grabs it. Deegan barely slaps him. Like, I know we all said, like, I made a big deal. I was like, oh, he bitch slapped him. Like, it was a love tap. Like, it wasn't anything crazy, right? But go back last year, Jason Anderson versus Jet. That was so much worse.
So he grabbed his helmet and basically his forehead touched his bar pad.
Yeah, so that was so much worse. Like, I feel this is needed. And I even tweeted this out, that imagine we had a Netflix show, Drive to Survive. That would be the best content for it, bro. Like, you want that story. That would be an amazing storyline for Drive to or Ride to Survive, right? Like, we need something like that. And like, we got the audio later on. It was literally just nothing. But I mean, we would still want that as like a show, a series, right? So
I don't want that to take away from the exquisite performance of Cole, because they didn't even show him on the broadcast. He was so perfect, you know? Like, he didn't do anything wrong. He was just cooking the whole time, and GG's.
that is actually my 250 surprise, is how good Cole was. Like, in qualifying, he wasn't that great. Go look at it. He was like 11th, bro. He qualified horrible. Heat race, so dominated. Main event, dominated. And I tweeted this out that they showed him 3 times on the broadcast, maybe a little bit more, but like what I remember is 3 times. Start, when they show everybody. Then he passes Juju for the lead. The next lap, literally the next lap. And then when he finishes the race at the very end, like, there was nothing else. Like, go back and watch, maybe like hear bits and pieces. There was legit nothing else, I swear. And that, I feel like, yeah, there was some good racing going on, but you still got to show a little bit more than 3 times on Cole Davies. Like,
I was really surprised with Joe Shimoda, and I guess he didn't do super great in the finish, but like, Buddy was aggressive and had a lot of fight in him. Like, I mean, you would thought there was beef between him and Deegan. You know, he was just going for his front tire and punting him, and yeah, I thought it was cool.
let's talk a little bit about the 450s here for our 450 takeaways. I feel that 450 race was the best race of the year. I was looking into how many lead changes there were, and I believe, don't quote me, there were 6. So Cooper Webb pulled the whole shot. Ken Roxon passed him. Cooper passed him back. Kenny passed him again. Chase made a pass for the lead, and then at the very end, Cooper made. So I think that's 6, right? 6 or 7. But I think it just also one of the best races because we had excitement between 4 guys for 10 minutes straight, bro. I swear, it was 4 guys for 10 minutes. And then also it came down to less than a second of a finish.
Yeah, it was like a picture, a direct copy of last year. Almost.
Literally, and it sucked because I was heartbroken again. Okay.
Yeah. No, dude. Chase looked great. Like, super good. I thought he was, as soon as he got in the lead, I thought it was over. Like, he was just going to check out, and I started to get on the like, oh no, dude, maybe he is going to get on a run here and just dominate everybody. He looked great, and then he just did Chase things.
That's the surprising part too for me, is like, Chase, when he got the lead, he was the fastest guy on the track, and then just didn't gap anybody when he it looked like he was going to, dude. And that actually, I think, chalked him. If he was able to get a 5-6 second lead instantly after getting into the lead, I think he wins that race.
I mean, this was like the least dumb thing he's done. I feel like this was just a hard track, and like, I don't really hold it against him losing the lead on this one, right? Like, just made a mistake, super hard track. Some of the other races where he's like thrown it completely away, that's like a negative, in my opinion, towards him. But this one, I just felt like, man, just made a little mistake.
I think just the best guy won, right? It's heartbreaking because he had a horrible start. He got into the lead, was leading for the very end until the last 2 laps, and then he loses the lead. But he, like you mentioned, he doesn't crash. He still gets second. He finishes less than a second. He doesn't lose a bunch of points. He loses 3. There's still 6 races left. Like, he's only down 11 points. If you think about it, like we've mentioned this in the past, that Cooper Webb should always be on the podium. And if Cooper Webb is always on the podium and Chase is always on the podium, it's going to be hard to make up points. So go back to Birmingham. He picked up half the points that he wanted. Now he lost a couple. So it kind of evens out where he was like, all right, I gained a couple each weekend, right? And so if you think about it that way, he's in a good spot for the next 6 races.
That little dive bomb he did on the last corner was sick. Like, he swung that so perfect, so wide, trying to cut in underneath Cooper. Also, Cooper is a genius. Like, he went so, I mean, obviously you're going to protect the inside in that situation, but really, if you watch it back, Chase was nowhere near him. going into that corner. And it's like he knew, I don't know. I just thought how far inside Webb protected was really surprising because he went so slow, where I feel like maybe if he was right behind him, he would have done that, right? And he would have thought that Chase was going to just try to dive it in. But how, as far back as Chase was, like, I'm wondering if he could even hear his bike and still decided to go that far inside, right? Like, there's
I think
so
he
much
made
noise.
up his mind like already, like he was just going to do that regardless.
But it was like perfect because it's exactly what Chase did. If he would have went like 2 feet wide, Chase would just shoved his bike in there. It was from both of them. I thought the attempt was like perfect from Chase, and then it was just combat perfect by Webb.
There was 2 things I was thinking about when that happened. I was thinking, okay, first, punt the shit out of him. Just literally go in and punt him.
I think he was going to, dude.
And then second was, how fast could have Chase like made it around the corner if he railed the outside, right? Like, that's kind of what I think, because Webb was so slow, right? He was going into that corner, protecting the inside. He was going super slow. Did Chase have enough time to go and rail the outside and cut back, like rail and cut left and pass him up the lip?
If Chase got the 3 onto the table before, yes, I think, because he would have been like right behind him. Then I think obviously Cooper Webb has to go inside, right?
Well, I think if he gets that 3 on,
Chase gets him down the straight.
He gets him down the straight, I think, because he would. So my thinking of here is, if he gets a 3 on, he's going to be on the left side. Cooper Webb's in the inside. He's going to cut underneath, or maybe Cooper's on the inside. He's on the outside. You know how Cooper got passed by J. Coop around the outside of that section? Maybe Sexton does
insane,
crazy. What if Chase does the same thing, right? You know, but. Now let's jump into our next segment here, and it's the biggest letdown for the day. Let's start with the 450 class. And for me personally, I wrote down Malcolm Stewart, and I wrote that down because I kind of expected him to do a little bit better than finishing 7th. However, he did get punted off the start by your man over here, AP, stalling the motorcycle down the straight. So
I mean, not even like just
not great.
Absolutely.
But with saying that, he did go from dead last to 3rd in the heat race, and he had a bunch of speed, right? And so my thinking was, could he have gotten up further in the main event? Like, it was off the start. Yes, he got yeeted. He didn't crash or anything like that. But could he have got better than 7th, right? Like, DF beat him. And let's see here. DF beat him. J. Coop beat him. Ken Roxon with a bad shoulder beat him.
I think that track, I've seen multiple guys post on IG that they said it was the hardest track they've ever ridden.
That's fair.
You know, so I feel like maybe at Birmingham or another track, sure, right? I mean, I think he had the speed. He looks insane lately, but I just think that track specifically was so gnarly that you could push, but the risk reward was just maybe not worth. I was a little let down with Justin Barcia as well, because he was up there. Did he go like OTB in the main?
Yeah, he did.
I just saw a picture of his like head on the ground and the bike above him. And I was like, I wonder if that's what happened in the main. So yeah, that sucks for him because he looked really good, like really, really good.
Now, what about your letdown for the 250 class?
Honestly, probably Haiden.
So I did mention this in our reaction video that bringing out the orange gear, I felt like he needed to win and make a statement.
Right. That's what I'm saying, bro. There's so much, like, it wasn't a bad ride, right? Like, he crashed and got 3rd, right?
Yeah.
Like, great, cool, salvaged, still doing great in the championship. It's a great night. I'm sure he's happy. I just think with all of the like flash and all the yapping and all the trash talk and all the aggressiveness, I mean, I want him to win. You know, I want him, right? He's in the orange jail kit. I want Buddy to come out and just dog on everybody, you know? And I think that's what we all kind of expect. And so I feel like, and again, it's a bummer because dude, how many times has he tucked the front on the first freaking lap?
I don't know, but you can get Don't Tuck the Front sweatshirts and t-shirts on exhibit.com. So
that's a Chase Sexton fan, by the way, that made that. It was insane. But I'm just like, whether it be a heat race or like how many, he's had so many first lap issues. I feel like we're getting robbed of what could be, you know, because he just chalks his first lap.
If I told you that he only had 2 wins this year, would you say I was smoking crack?
No.
No, I mean going into the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he only has 2 wins, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy to me to think about, because we all thought he was going to be the best guy. We all thought he was going to dominate. One person thought he was going to go perfect. I wonder who that could be. So, but he only has 2 wins, which is crazy to think about. Yes, he looks much better than what he does in the beginning of the year, for sure. But you're right, man. I mean, him pulling out that jail suit, fantastic marketing, fantastic publicity, all of that, right? They're the best at that. Yeah, they're the best at doing that. But yeah, I mean, only getting 3rd. Only 2 wins this year. I mean, kind of crazy.
I mean, again, it's not a bad night. You know, he crashed in the first lap, got 3rd, doing great in the championship. Great. He's probably going to win still. I just feel like it's like I don't know. It's just kind of an underwhelming season for him.
Yeah.
And he's a very overwhelming guy. You know what I mean?
For my letdown for the 250s, it's got to be Joe. And so why I say this is, like, I predicted Joe on the podium, right? I thought he was going to do great. He looked good in the beginning and then faded a lot. I mean, another thing, like, for me with Joe is, how do you make an aggressive pass on Deegan like that and then don't, like, back it up and, like, hold them off for longer, right? If you're going to make an attempt like that, you got to be able to stay ahead of him for a little bit longer, in my opinion. He did mess the rhythm up. He probably just took a bad line, got a little off balance. Makes sense. I mean, that track was crazy, right? But making that aggressive pass, being that aggressive with Haiden, and then only being able to get 5th place on the night, I mean, it kind of let me down, man, just a little bit. I mean, because I wanted him to do good. I wanted him to do a podium. He has no handguards anymore, so that makes me think like his fingers are fine, right? So, yeah, just kind of let down by that performance. All right, so now going into the best rides of the night. And let's start with the 250s, since we're talking about 250s here. And it has to be, Garrett Marchbanks.
Yeah.
Who predicted him getting 2nd place?
Huge surprise. He was barking too. Like for a minute there, I thought he was going to reel Cole in.
Yeah. Dude, he was hauling. I mean, his best lap of the night was only 0.09 off of Cole's. That's pretty freaking good. And Cole is fast. So Cole did a 47.145. Garrett did a 47.237. Bro. Like, that is freaking insane. But yeah, he rode fantastic out there. Even in the heat race too, he rode great.
Bro, him and Seth are like breaking the Cowie curse.
Breaking the Cowie curse? I mean, they've already had the Cowie curse this year. Marchbanks got hurt.
They're gonna break it. Maybe.
Who was your best ride for the 250s?
I would agree.
Oh,
I think I have to agree with Garrett. I mean, or Cole, you know. I mean, I've been saying it, Chet. That's all I'm saying.
All right, what about 450s?
Chet, you're gonna hate this, but I've been saying AP, bro. And hear me out. Hear me out. This isn't glaze. You know, this is just. Listen, they had this little battle, right? 4 people just going at it for like 10, 15 minutes, right? Top 4, insane battle. Who was right behind him the whole time and had to come from farther behind? That's a little Aaron Plessinger, sir. That's right. Now, did he kill his bike on the start and absolutely moot his like friend? Yes. Did that ruin his race and Mookie's race? I think so. Because I think okay, first of all, AP starts are diabolical. Nobody's even close to him. Like, he's just the GOAT right now at starting.
If he didn't stall that motorcycle, he would have pulled the whole shot.
Oh, dude, guaranteed. And it wouldn't even been close. Yeah, 100%. If he rips the whole shot, personally, Doc here, not being a glazer, I think he wins the race. I'm just saying, because he was there with them the whole time. Did he, fall off a little bit last like 5 minutes? Yes, but it's 5 minutes. There's no pressure from the rear. Just cruise it in for a little 3rd place. Now, if he rips the whole shot, Webb and Sexton and Roxon were in a battle of their own, and it took them a little while to get to the front because they were, a little shuffling. I'm just saying, he put a little gap. He puts like 4 or 5 seconds on him. I don't know, brother. I think he's got a win in dry coming this year.
Yeah, his speed is there, bro. His speed is there.
He just needs to start and like
without stalling a motorcycle.
Right, without stalling it. I mean, what's crazy is like still actually how good of a start he got.
Yeah.
With the bike being stalled.
So I was just going to say, with stalling that motorcycle, with punting Malcolm, he still after lap 1 was in 5th.
Yeah, poor Malcolm.
5th/6th. He got passed by Chase, and he was in 6th for a while, got into 5th, and then just started clicking the laps, man. He was doing so good. And yeah, I think if he doesn't get a bad start, like if he wasn't 6th off the start, he maybe pulls away a little bit in the beginning and then rides his own race. He's really good at those deep ruts. Like we saw it all Moto, right? He was catching the guys. And so I do agree that if he gets that start, which if he had that same start from the heat race, well, look what happened. Chase beat him, or Chase couldn't pass him in that 8 minutes. And now you got to think about Chase is coming through the pack. Cooper's going through the pack. Kenny's going through the pack.
The whole time I was watching AP's deficit to the leader, right? Not the guy in front of him, but to the leader. And no matter who was in the lead, whether it was Chase or Kenny or Cooper, he wasn't losing time to them. If in fact, I think he was 6 seconds back at one point and then worked his way up to like 4.4, which was just right behind the group. And I just really think like he had the pace. If he was just clear track and would have been able to put a little gap in the beginning, those guys are going to screw around with each other. Now, you could always play devil's advocate and be like, well, Doc, but if they were in second, they were going to rise to the occasion and push to the front. I don't know. Maybe, but you're also yapping, Chad.
Okay, so for my best ride, though, was a guy that never got any broadcasts. We didn't even know he was in 5th place. I didn't even know he was in 5th place. And that is DF, Dylan. Like,
Dylan Faranda.
Great. I mean, great ride by Dylan. He kind of got lucky at the end with J. Coop going down, so he got gifted a spot, maybe 5th or 6th. But still, that's a better ride than what we've seen DF last week. And I think that's maybe one of his best rides of the season, even though we didn't even get to watch it. So
yeah.
But now let's give out an award for the best privateers, and let's start with the 450 class. And who is your best privateer?
All right, I'm going to give you 2. I'm going to do a typical Doc thing and just yap a little bit here. We're going to go with Benny Bloss because he's on a beta. I know it's a factory team, but I just have to say 9th place, old Benny. But we're going to go for a real privateer. We're going to go Chiz, okay? Because he's done about 600 billion races in his career, and somehow he's still he's the LCQ god, dude. Like, I don't understand. That LCQ is crazy, by the way. And then, P13, it's insane. Also, shout out Colt Nichols.
Is that Suzuki Team Privateer?
Yeah. But, I mean, come on. Okay, if you want another one, okay, let's go down the list here. We're just going to go right below him, Shane McElrath.
All right, that's fine.
It's
the crazy part about that is Kyle Chisholm went down so hard in the heat. And did you see what happened to him? Like, obviously we saw it on the broadcast, but did you see that Malcolm's knee pushed his arm up off the bar, and that's why he lost control? Yeah, so he lost control. Malcolm's knee hit his arm, lost control, crashed, bike mangled, didn't even finish, goes to the LCQ, has 3 guys crash in front of him, like what, and then wins it. Chiz is gonna Chiz, man.
He's also like 48 years old, so
it's crazy.
It's insane.
All right, I'll give you those.
I give you like 4, so
yeah. So my best privateers are actually 2 guys that made it directly out of the heats. And that is Kevin Morans and Justin Starling for me. Those guys we actually sponsor. Maybe it's a little bias on my part, but
a little bit.
They made it directly out of the heats, both of them. I think that's the first time this year that both have made it directly out at the same time. So I just got to show some love to them, man. They're riding great. Kevin finished 19th, and then Starling finished 21st. We don't care about the results. We care about making it to the main. So great ride by those guys. But now let's go to the 250 class. Who's your best privateer for the 2 viddies?
We have to go with Brazil, Enzo Lopes. You know, I mean, 7th? Come on. Nobody knew. Nobody talked about it, right? Super under the radar. Great ride. You know?
So for my best privateer, I have 2 of them. I got to stop giving out 2 awards here, but it's going to be Gavin Towers in 10th place. Really impressive. And then Lux Turner in 11th place. Lux Turner went down so hard in the qualifying sessions that there was a photo of him standing hunched over and his bike upside down. So, yeah, impressive that he was able to even finish the night and still get 11th, especially on that track. And then obviously Gavin Towers on that Phoenix Honda Racing. And yeah, just give out some shout outs or some love to those guys. Great ride by them. Also Cole Thompson right above them too in 9th. That's kind of a good race.
Yeah, I mean, basically 7 through like
11.
Other than Jordan Smith, yeah.
Jordan Smith got up to 12?
Yeah, RIP my mans.
No. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, he was barking. Well, he wasn't barking, but he's an absolute warrior.
Bro, yeah. I swear to you, he was in 19th at one point. With like 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Okay, shout out to Jordan. Yeah, he crashed so hard by freaking Michael Mosman in the heat race.
On his already broken ribs?
Dude, crazy. Did you know that he was wearing the Alpine Star chest protector thingy, the airbag?
I wonder. I mean, I'm sure it helped a little bit. Although, if the ribs are broken, then re-smashing them, whether it's on a pillow or not, it's still gonna hurt.
Yes, but yeah, he had that, and he said it. He actually mentioned that it did help a little bit, but he was still in pain, right? So.
Well, sure, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, so those are our takeaways, surprises, letdowns about Seattle Supercross. Let us know in the comment section what your biggest takeaway was, as well as your best privateer, best ride of the night. So let me know what you guys have in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for all of the love on the recent videos. You guys are going crazy, so we appreciate that a lot. And be on the lookout for our rankings video tomorrow. So much love, guys. We're out. Peace.